might not tell me anything, but if you say, hey, Tom, look, go to this hallway and take a right. There's a guy out there with a gun, a knife, a ball bat, whatever, beating his wife, he's trying to kill the pastor, the manager, whatever. That's what we need. Descriptions. And it is hard. We'll talk about this in a few minutes. But I don't need, hey, there's a guy, he's blonde-headed, he wears glasses, wears a white shirt. Well, you look around here, I mean, I could closely identify several people in this room right now. You know, I want the ugly fat guy wearing green. He's got a mustache. This, you know, try to be as detailed as you can to these officers. They're going to be under about as much stress as you are. If you can help somebody get out, help them out. If you find somebody injured, if you can move them somewhere safe, move them. One thing these officers will not do, they will not stop and treat you if you're wounded, if you're shot. Our primary function is to end that threat, to get to that shooter, that person with a knife, bomb, whatever it is. That is our primary function. You're going to see officers from Greenville City, you'll see them from Greenville County, everywhere somebody's going to come. You're going to see guys dressed like me, you're going to see guys like this gentleman, coat and ties, standard uniforms. They're going to let you know who they are, but don't be surprised that, you know, if you look up and you see a guy from Anderson County should show up. You know, it may happen. So with that, they're not going to know anything about Greenville. They're not going to know anything about you, sir. They'll know even less than what we do, is what I'm saying. Be thorough, help them. But as we start getting these officers, they will start treating the wounded. They'll start setting up casualty collection points. We'll start getting you out. But the first thing that you can do for your ultimate survivor is to prepare for this. Be a survivor. You know, we are all creatures of habit. You know, we drive to work the same way every day. How many of you get up every morning and do the same thing? I do. Get up, get dressed, grab a Pop-Tart, cup of coffee, and out the door every day. You know, you've got to be conscious to try to change your habits. You know, when you go into a church or place of business, how many of you go in and you exit out the same door every day? You know, and I realize in a lot of business, you don't have that option to break out the emergency exit without calling the fire department. But still, know these things. We encourage people on your break, get up and walk around your place of worship, your house. You know, what happens, you know, somebody breaks in at night. You know, how do you get out? How do you fight it? Your place of business, where are my exits? If I've got to get out, how do you do that? And it's just simple. It's just mental preparedness. It's running over these scenarios in your mind. And I'm not telling you to go home and be all paranoid. Just like me, I tell a lot of young guys, I clear my house all the time. When I say clear, I walk around my house like at night, you know, if I'm going to bed, and I look at angles on doorways or rooms. I come into this room, and what I want to know is where's the nearest exit? If something goes bad, how do I protect this room? How do I get people out? And it's just a quick little mental exercise. You know, we teach our guys. You pull up to a handy mart and get a cup of coffee. What happens if it's getting robbed? Where do you park? How do you go in? Where are the exits? Things like that. I encourage you to do little exercises like that. Know your surroundings. That's a big thing. An event like this happens, you've got three options. You can run, which is your best course of action. If you can get out and go far away. Different theories out there. We prefer you not to collect up in one part of the parking lot or whatever. You run the risk of two, you know, suspects. You got one, hey, he'll go in and run you out and somebody outside. You know, we're seeing this a lot with terrorism, with secondary explosive devices being put out to target first responders and people fleeing scenes. You know, and I know that's the far end of this spectrum, but it's going to probably come here one day. These are things you have to think about. But get away from it. Take of somebody. The other one, if you have to, hide. But again, when you walk around your office or you walk around this building, where could I hide today? What is secure? Look at things like what will stop a bullet. If I flip this table over, is it going to stop a bullet? Probably not, but it's better than nothing. And if I'm sitting up here and this is all I got, hey, I may try to grab two. The number one thing that we've seen out here statistically that stops active shooters is a locked door. You run up there, you lock that door and hide. If you're in an office, you're in a sanctuary, you're in a Sunday school class, we're in this. Don't huddle together. It's one thing for me to come in and I've got 20 people in this room, I want to kill them. I start shooting 20 people versus if I've got to stop and find a target and start looking for people. if it gets that bad, there's strength in numbers, which gets us to the fight category. Don't know about y'all, man, I love my wife and kids, got a couple of cats I like. Home city. You know, look around this room, see a lot of hats on gentlemen in here. A lot of you guys know what it's like to be out here in some very, very bad situations and have walked through them. You know, you've got to have that mindset to survive this. You know, if I have to take a bullet, you're going to have to shoot. I'm going home to my wife and kids. You know, we tell people, if you can move, you can breathe, and you can see, you can do something. Don't be a victim. I'm going to tell you a little war story right here. When y'all get bored of it, just throw something. But I'm going to tell you a little war story about mindset and how far you can go with this. 3 or 4 years ago, I guess now, we get a call late one evening about a family being held hostage up in the north part of the county. When we get there, James Beaver, who was our commander at the time, I drove all the way from Piedmont, so it took me about 45 minutes to ride over. And I get up there, and James walks up to the car, and he says, "Man, this is bad." And he says, "You need to get with Steve as soon as you can." He says, "We got to figure out a way to end this." He says, "Negotiations are going terrible. It's just, we're at that point." What had happened, there's a boyfriend, girlfriend. They had some problems and whatnot. He decides he's going to leave work early. He's going to go to the house. He's going to take her. He's going to kill her. Well, he gets to the house. He goes inside. He finds a sister. He finds grandmother. He finds a little girl. I think she was about 9 at the time. And let's see, the wife, he believes that she's run out. Can't find her. Subsequently, the wife's new boyfriend or friend, whatever. Anyway, he shows up. Guy steps out with a 30-30 Winchester, puts one right in his chest, kills him, drags him in, chunks him in the house. He keeps telling our negotiators, "Look, you give me this girl," he says, "it's over. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill myself. Everybody can leave." So that's where we're at. Trying to find a breaching point. This is a single wide trailer. We have 2 options. We have a front porch, nice and big, wide open space, but kills them. This guy's got a rifle. We got no way we can really get in quickly. Our second problem is we have no idea where these people are in this house. Our third problem is our primary breach point is going to be the rear of this trailer on about a 6x6 set of steps and a porch that's fallen in. So we elect to explosively breach. We get the bomb team up there. Negotiations are at this point, they're done. And there's no headway. He's given us an ultimatum. I'm going to start killing people. We breach the door, we go in. As soon as we hit the door, we start taking fire from this guy. Unbeknownst to us at the time, he hears movement going around. He kind of figures out, I think this is what's going to happen. He's put all these people into a bathroom in this mobile home. And he's told them, he said, "You're going to hear a loud boom, and then you're going to hear a lot of booms." When we breached the door, he turned around, he fired a shot. He shot grandmother through the hips, split her from end to end, turned around, opened fire. Little girl was sitting on the edge of this tank, of a tub, which is sitting about right here. On the other side of her is her aunt. Grandmother sitting on the toilet, and this guy. He in turn starts shooting. First guy that goes in, my point guy in front of me, he catches a 30-30 right through the Kevlar into the arm. We go by, we're taking bullets. Another guy, misses about 3 guys on the entry. He gets hit once through the femur, shatters it. One goes through the magazine of his rifle. Good Lord looking out for him. Truly. Collar on his vest. He caught about that much, that 30-30 round, and stopped out. Jeff, knowing he was no good, basically he gets out of the way, we go back in. We start trading rounds in this bathroom with this guy. This all happened in 18 seconds. We go in, first thing we see, a little girl pops up out of the tub, covered in blood.
Oh,
Thinking,
wow.
"Oh my gosh." Well, she sits there for a total of about 5 hours during all this going on. Her mother, who we still had not found, who we thought had ran out the back door, her mother was hiding in that bathtub with the shower curtain open. Never said a word. That little girl sat right there in front of her mother during all this. Never said a word to this guy. She was shot with a 30-30 through the knee. She's doing great, happy growing up. We still talk to her on occasion. And I tell that story. One big thing out of this, if If that 9-year-old girl can sit there through all that and walk out of it unscathed, all of them, only one never uttered the first whimper out of that thing. Never saw the child shed a tear the entire time through numerous surgeries, visits to the hospital. But in her mind, she was going to live through this. You know, you talk to her, she said, yeah, I had to protect my mom. That's what she was doing. Brad Grice, the first guy that got shot going through the door. Brad thought his arm got blown off. Brad figures out, we get him out of the way. Brad goes and clears the rest of this mobile home. We find him sitting on the bed with his rifle and his arm dangling, about half off. We didn't even know he'd been shot really at that point. You all right? He goes, yeah. I'm joking about it with him later. I said, what'd you do? He goes, look, man, we always say if you ain't got a job, find one. I found a job. But a lot of that is just built into these guys day in and day out, that it's second nature to them, and they have that mindset going in. And we are no different than any of y'all. Believe me, man, I don't want to get shot at. I don't want to confront somebody, you know, with a set of car keys and he's got a gun. But if I have to, I will. But it's that kind of mindset and preparedness that you have to start with right now. You understand what I'm saying? You know, you got to find yourself in one of these situations. You know, your mind is going to start playing some tricks on you. A lot of it is survivor. One of the biggest problems we've had with deputies is stress inoculation. And we do a lot of reality-based training to do that. And we would find when we started this, I mean, deputies would completely shut down. And it's natural. It's not natural to walk up to somebody shooting at you, pointing a gun. And when you're confronted with this, or somebody with a knife, you may find the time slows down. You're going to see distortion. You'll start seeing your vision stop. Your hearing will probably go somewhat. But a lot of that is just your body's way of telling you, hey, things are fine. You see time, you start feeling yourself slow down. That's your mind telling you, things are good. You are where you ought to be and you're tuned in. You see them start speeding up, it's a couple of different things. You know, in layman's terms, it's telling you, hey, you're losing control, or B, this ain't real important to you right now. Let's just get by this. You know, hearing distortion, I tell you. And in my career, I don't think I've ever heard a gunshot in real life. You hear them all the time on the range. But yeah, you talk to guys, it's a lot of vibration, it's a lot of muffled sound. And then 20 minutes later, you can't hear. You know, these are things you're going to experience. And if you do, don't, just embrace it. I mean, it's just your body helping you. Good Lord put a lot in us, you know, to protect us. You know, just be aware of this kind of stuff. Especially you guys on security teams, you don't have to raise your hand. I'm assuming there's probably some CWP holders in here, maybe. Yeah. How many of you go to the range and you stand in front of a paper target and shoot? How many ever run up and down to that paper target or do push-ups, or you move and shoot all the time? Got a couple, and that's good. If you're going to carry these guns, if you're not shooting them at least once, twice a month, and you're not going out there and you're preparing yourself, you got to start moving. You need to find your range. If it's your backyard, somewhere safe, you got to burn, wherever. But you got to go out there and push yourself beyond what you can do. Any of us can go out here at 3 yards and point a target and shoot it. The problem is when that target's shooting back, or I got to start running around this room, jumping tables. How many ever lay down on your back and shoot, or on your side, or sit down? Good. Again, if you're not, I encourage you. And if you're not doing that, hey, don't carry it. You're doing yourself a disservice. But the two biggest things is just keep your mind and don't panic during this. If you have a coworker that's panicking, hey, give them a job to do. Hey, go lock the door, Tom. Quit screaming like a little girl. You know, and people do it. People like that. You know, that's the reason, you know, a lot of our deputies, we encourage them all the time. We tell you, if you ain't got a job to do, find something. You know, you'll dump 20 guys into a house sometimes, going up with 5 of them going, I ain't got nothing to do. Well, yeah, you do. There's 14 people out here running out the back door. You'll find them. You know, copy business. But if you keep them occupied, it keeps that stress down. If we had to barricade in this room, you're going to find about 3/4 of us in here going to go, whoa, what the heck? The other 25% need to go, okay, hey, look, but I want you two guys to start moving chairs over here. I'm going to stack them up in front of this door. You four, if this guy breaks in, you take these chairs and start beating him over the head with them. And keep in mind, folks, this is a worst-case scenario, life and death. You do whatever it takes to survive. And you put that in your mind here and today. You take it back to your churches, your offices. You're gonna get pushback from some people. That's too vital. Yeah, well, yeah, it is. Nobody likes it. But that's just one of these things this old world has turned to. And when you look at what's happening overseas, it will come here at some point, folks. It's just a matter of what degree it will. The biggest thing out here now is when you talk to people, they can't figure out why it has not started already. So, y'all have any questions you'd like to ask me?